Created live on Fireside.
Guys, welcome to YNS Live with NFL Thread. I keep looking over there. YNS Live with NFL Thread. So you have seen it's not just the ladies, and so now I want to introduce you to the wonderful Michael McKenzie. So give us your background. I'm not going to even say, and then Rachel's got to come back, and she's got to come back and do it.
Who that? Well, my background is a humble beginner from South Florida. Was gracious enough to be drafted in the NFL in 1999. Was blessed enough to have an 11-year NFL career. Played with the Green Bay Packers, drafted third round out of Memphis University. Spent 5.5 years in Green Bay. Played 5.5 in New Orleans. And because I have such a super wife, we've been able to transition away from the game. And I'm really just honored to be here with Thread, with the NFL Wives. And the Wives do so much for the players behind the scenes that most people don't know about.
Right.
It's great just to have an opportunity to be in a supportive role. Super honored. My wife is now the president of the NFL Wives Association. Big ups to Erica Lassiter for her great leadership over the years. And Cindy, and I mean the organization is it's big. Shit, excuse my French, but it's
no,
big.
you can say shit.
It's big. So for me, just having the opportunity to be in a supportive role for my wife and for the NFL Wives. It meant a lot. So just being here, this is one of my favorite events of the whole weekend, coming out with the Thread, with all the behind the scenes things that Thread does, and then leading into the NFL Wives fashion show. So my wife has found a way, because she knows how to do it.
She does.
The participation is fabulous. And like I said before, just as a husband, having an opportunity to, take a seat back and watch the awesome things that the women are doing is really what it's about.
It's amazing. But so you have a charity, and I know we talked about this on the podcast when I had Rachel. I mean, one thing about you guys as a couple that just really came out was, the care and love, because when she talks about both of your backgrounds and then what it was always been in your heart. And so I want you to talk about your charity, because this is something that was close to your heart for a long time. And then you were able to, because of the position you were, that God put you in as a player, to be able to kind of create this. Can you tell us a little bit about your charity?
Well, the 34 Ways Foundation is about teaching, reaching, and educating youth. You could go to 34waysfoundation.org or .com to find out tons of information about the impact that we're having in community. But the big thing for us is just supporting teachers, supporting coaches, supporting parents, supporting church. And that makes up the whole NFL family. And for me, just being supported so much by the community and having so many coaches, parents, pick me up as a young kid, buy lunches for it, buy cliques. And so just having an opportunity now to help bridge those gaps that's in so many of our underserved communities is a passion of ours at 34 Ways. And so we just find ways to collaborate and bring different organizations together that have resources that a lot of other organizations may not know about. So for us, it's about sharing, caring, and finding collaborative ways to, bring our network of former players, the wives, the business communities, all up under, a happy umbrella of sorts.
Yeah. Okay, so I love that. And I remember when Rachel talked about it, I got when you get the chills and you were like, yes, that's amazing. So you guys come from an athletic background. Both of you guys are, the real deal. So when Rachel was also talking about her and the track and field and the coaching, I would love to hear about what seeing your girls And
we have one girl, 3 boys.
oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You had the 3 boys, right?
But Coach Rachel, that's the part that a lot of folks don't know. They don't know Coach Rachel.
Right.
They might know Rachel the wife, Rachel the entrepreneur, Rachel the president of the NFL wife, Rachel the board member, Rachel the mother. It goes on and on, but it's one of those things that when it comes to coaching and her passion that she has for young youth, I tell her a lot of times she's brilliant in the corporate realm, but the impact that she has around young people and women is phenomenal. So, our kids, they get the two-edged sword of having a parent also as a coach. But for me, seeing my wife so engaged and indulged with our kids outside of the house is something that I tell her a lot of times that people do look to her and see like, hey, that's big sis really is holding it down. And I told her the role that she's playing for other wives, other couples, it is something to be commended. And so for me just to be here on a weekend where it's all about, the NFL and that's to mean the players, once again, it's the things that the wives are doing. It's the programs that's happening behind the scene that really means so much to me personally. So,
But yeah, and I know Rachel, talked about it, and I have to say, not all the women that we had as the series went on, so we interviewed some really great women. And one of the things that I think society doesn't see is how supportive you guys as players and husbands are, and that it was literally so touching, one after another, just being like, my husband was there and supported me after he left his career. He was still there and wanting me to succeed. It was my turn to help. And as you guys helped each other through, can you take us through a little bit of that when you retired from the league?
well, just dealing with a lot, just emotionally, just the disconnect from, not having the camaraderie of the
Right.
game, dealing with, the multitude of, just injuries and, sometimes the depression of, used to being, just a part of this big purpose that a lot of times you miss so much time with your family and a lot of those bonding moments because as professional athletes you spend so much time engaged in the profession. And
Right.
so a lot of times people don't realize how much is sacrificed, not only physically but emotionally. And I think the aspect where the mental health now is something that's it's serious. They don't realize how many players go through hard, difficult times and feel as though they don't have a place to talk about those
Talk about
things.
it.
And a lot of former players, we're dying earlier. We're constant in struggles in reference with the lead, in reference to the benefits. And I'm just one to say that, the lead is a great lead and provided great opportunity. But there's always more work to do.
Yep.
And I always advocate for former players around health benefits, lifetime health benefits. Is really something that I advocate for just because we understand that without that infrastructure and the mental capacity and the health well-being around it for a lot of players, folks just don't realize, just the different facets involved with when you transition away from the NFL.
Well, but here's the thing. This is one of the things that I wanted to really talk passionately about. And it was, I'm a woman and I was in a transitional time in my life. So that's why really my podcast came about. But really, if we stop and think, it doesn't matter how level-headed you are. You have been playing, and I'm not talking about just you, but a professional athlete has been playing that sport since they were young. And that's their whole life. And then to be it taken away because either injury, age, whatever you're that is going to do something mentally, and it doesn't matter how strong the person is. We need to, as a society, think about that and think, oh, I feel badly. Like I feel badly for it. Not feel bad in a bad way, but in a really let's be sympathetic to this. Let's think about this.
Well, it's a twofold side to it. When it comes to the economics and the monopoly, you see the FanDuel now. You've seen all of with the DraftKings, and more people are getting engaged. It started out with just the office games, and now it's full blown. Back in the day, gambling and sports never went together, and now you see in a short period of time, it's like one couldn't, exist without the other.
Right.
So I always tell and challenge folks, the greatest thing about sports is what it does in reference to bringing people together.
Yes.
The game is just a formality, but what happens around the games, those special moments that families spend with one another, sharing those great moments. And, being a Super Bowl champ myself, being a part of that Who Dat Nation, it's special. And so it's a big weekend. We got two great teams here in LA, peers on both sides. So it's one of those things that football, the game in itself, is so recognized, but the true backdrop to it, folks really look forward to any time they have an opportunity to be around friends, family, and just having a good time. So
and I love that you talk about the sports. I played 2 sports in college, so like I love that team, that, as you said, the energy. So thank you so much for joining YNS Live with NFL Thread. Shout out
I told Tracy I would not leave out of here without giving a shout out to the Thread. 34 Ways. I mean, we're family based. We're about helping and working in the community, but it's about the collaborative effort, and we just want to thank Thread and Off the Field for all the awesome things that you guys are continuing to do. Big blessings here in 2022.
Yes, well, thank you. I'm going to do this, and see you at the fashion show tomorrow.
Peace out.
Thank you, Michael.